Hey, survivors, welcome to the chat. We're going to talk about why going bankrupt with the narcissist is actually a good thing. So, we're going to have a couple people joining us. I go back to school tomorrow. So, going bankrupt with the narcissist is actually a good thing because it gives us a chance to start over. A lot of us, um, it gives us a chance to self reflect on the things that we're missing or overlooking, accepting when we shouldn't accept it. It's a fresh start and we can turn it into something positive. So I got somebody joining me. Please let me know if my sounds okay. I don't have my headphones on, they're right by me. So I'm trying to see if the microphone works pretty good. But I got some good news for you guys that um, uh, Cynthia Schiller. I can't remember if she's a psychiatrist or psychologist. She will be joining me in a podcast interview. So she is a therapist licensed in Indiana, and it'll be kind of neat. We have the exact same name, just Schiller is spelled different. So going bankrupt with a narcissist is just like the finances that we have. When you go bankrupt, it's a fresh start and it's wiped clean. So, financially, it goes on your credit for 10 years. There are some repercussions to this start over, just like we're going to have some emotional scarring, but we can heal from it. We can start over and rebuild better. So, it's something exciting, even though we hurt. Um, it's good to get to know ourselves better. And, when we're ruminating and thinking about all these things, it's good to redirect our thinking to the future and to today instead of getting caught up in negativity and depression. So it is important to go through the stages of grief. And I got somebody joining us. Feel free to join on in. It's been a busy day for me. I had to do some teaching online, and I did, like I said, talk to Cynthia Schiller, the therapist. So I'm looking forward to that podcast. She'll be able to answer some of your questions. So if you guys have any, please let me know ahead of time, and I can include that in the interview. So how's everybody's day going? I go back to school tomorrow and I got a notification that we might have a snow day. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Seems pretty nice outside today. And as we move forward, um, you know, um, don't beat yourself up. A lot of times we get caught up in beating ourselves up, that we become our own abuser. We're so used to abuse and regret and all those things. We can't change what has happened. And, you know, the the way the narcissist is a lot of times we feel guilty for not seeing things. And we have to realize that, a lot of times there's no way we could have seen it. It has to unfold because we trusted this person. And even if we didn't trust them, um, they're so good at lying that it often goes unnoticed and it starts out slowly. And the way that they turn things around on us is very toxic because it gets us losing ourselves. Um, we have to recognize that, you know, we are a good person and build ourselves back up. Positive thinking, personal positive affirmations is really going to make a difference in the healing process. So definitely don't beat yourself up so much. Um, and I know with me, after the CPTSD, it can cause your um, body to feel different and some brain fog, and it can be quite painful. It is like that withdrawal from cocaine. So we have to realize it's not going to be an easy road. A lot of times people will go back because it's easier. And then facing um, what reality is, we get so used to trying that we get stuck in trying mode and we forget about ourselves. A lot of us have been isolated and, you know, Debbie, storm coming in at 9 a.m. tomorrow, freezing rain Oh my gosh. Also snow. My BFF up north, she's 30 miles. Oh, they're getting 14 inches of snow. I just brought that up. We had a snow day on Friday. And then Monday and Tuesday off. I'm supposed to go back to school tomorrow. And I got an alert about 2 hours ago about some ice storm or something coming or snowstorm. I can't remember. Debbie, let me know how my sound is. I have my headphones off, but they're right by me. So I want to make sure you can hear me okay. So 9 a.m. That's I don't know. Am I going to have a snow day? Mia says hello. Hi, Mia. Hello, Cynthia. Good evening. So I think you guys missed out on my announcement that Cynthia Schiller, same exact name as me, is a therapist, and she's from Indiana. I'm going to be interviewing her in a podcast. I just spoke to her today. I thought that'd be kind of neat, me interviewing my namesake, or however you want to word it, my doppelganger for my name, loud and clear. Good, because that way it avoids the clicking. So when Lily gets here, she'll celebrate. And I can't believe 14 inches. That's insane. We've had a crazy winter where we haven't had that much snow, but when we do, it's a lot. So, how's everybody feeling today? Debbie, are you on day 9 of no contact? How are you feeling about that? You had some, I really like the way you worded it. It was very firm, but sometimes we get weak. I know that one lady I was telling you about, the borderline. She just, I talked to her yesterday on the phone, and she was broken up with her man again. They've been on and off for 7 years. And yeah, they're back together today. And she had said, I'm not going to post it. I feel like a fool. Thank you guys for those thumbs up. John says we got a little snow last night. Hey, Cynthia, Mia, and Debbie. And I'm doing my nails. I hope that's okay because I got to go back to work tomorrow. And I ran out of time. Some other good news. I got my green screen. So we're going to have some more creative videos coming up as soon as I figure out what I'm doing. Some little skits and fun things like that. That kind of brings me back to my childhood. I kind of wonder, I was thinking about that today. Is that why I am so excited about doing this? Because my father used to do little videos with us. Oh, they were movies, the 8mm movies. And it's kind of creative how he did it. So, um, we got to be cautious. A lot of us that I've seen across the board, people who go no contact and then reach out, a lot of times feel regret after that because it doesn't bring forth the response that they hoped. And Debbie says, I feel good. The day didn't start out good, but I'm okay. I'm having toe surgery after my back surgery. I'm getting myself in shape. Oh my goodness, bionic woman. Gosh, when is your toe surgery? And did you already have your back surgery? You're looking at that too? Oh my gosh. My sister had a knee replacement yesterday. So far, it seems like she's doing pretty good. Advancements have come. When I went to church this Sunday, the lady I was with, she was able to walk quite quickly after what she had done. Can't remember. She hurt her, I don't know, something with her foot, but it normally would have taken like 8 weeks up to a year afterwards for it to heal correctly. And she's doing good. There's a lot of advancements in surgery. So keep us posted on that. I'm glad that they got better too. John says, I really like that green screen background you used in that video. Thank you. I figured out some things, and it's going to get a lot more creative. So just stay tuned. I thought that was pretty. I liked it too. Thank you, John. And I saw yours, your little star formation. And so you get really creative with your stuff too. I got my green screen as soon as my nails are dry. I'll show you guys. I'm almost done with them. Sorry, I try not to do this, but I'll run out of time. And I feel handicapped for a while they dry. So, going bankrupt is a fresh start. And Debbie says no, March 15th for the back, toe after that. I already have 5 knee surgeries and 2 replacements, 18 total surgeries. Oh my goodness. How were your knee surgeries? I had a torn meniscus, and I had surgery on that. Too bad it's right in my kitchen. I have a picture of how much of my knee is missing. I'll need that too. knee replacement. Did you ever, two replacements? Oh my gosh. Hopefully one each instead of two on the same knee. Hopefully they were successful. And have you noticed an improvement? Debbie says that's what I had on both knees. That's a lot. Wow. My goodness. But it's amazing that they can do that kind of stuff, you know? Um, yeah, I'll probably need, oh, yeah, my ankle, hip, knee. Yeah, I need all that. I got loose ligaments. John says I got some good views on that star short I made. I've been lucky in life. Never had any surgery or parts replaced ever. I'm the opposite. I'm kind of like Debbie. A lot of broken bones. I've had so many broken bones. Fingers, toes, legs, collarbone, arms. Just, yeah, I very breakable. Tailbone 3 times. So, yeah, lots of broken bones here. I grew up fifth and sixth grade, always had a broken arm, and then seventh grade through like I don't know, first year college, I had broken legs. I'd even get stress fractures, and only had a couple broken bones as an adult. So, and usually they're not bad accidents; they're just dumb accidents. Your leg issue is getting better day by day. Fantastic! I like hearing that. Um, each day, even with the abuse that we've been through. It takes time. A lot of times we have to fall apart for it to come together, just like the muscles. If you have a torn muscle, it kind of has to undo to redo the correct way. And that's kind of what we're doing with our life right now is, it feels like it fell apart. And we have to go through the grieving process. Um, but we have to protect ourselves. If our person's not willing to be there for us, are they really our person? They should be willing to make the necessary changes for both of us. We're sitting here trying. Debbie says the first knee replacement I wanted to hurt someone was that bad. Oh, don't tell me that. But the second one was better. I broke my collarbone when I was 16. 8 years ago, I broke my shoulder in 4 places on my left arm. Oh, youch. Yeah. Luckily, I've never had a compound fracture where it pops out of your skin, but I have had full breaks. Um, Crazy how that stuff goes. John says, just so you all know, it's really quieted down here at the complex. About time. Good. They've started evicting people, and that's the thing, really nothing's permanent, a lot of times things change. We just sometimes have to trust the process, or like John did, he was proactive in protecting himself and changing certain situations. So that's great news. Um, and I know sometimes we get really depressed that we feel weak at times. But we got to stay strong. We got to realize if we reach out to them or accept a Hoover, is that going to make our life better or worse? It might be a temporary fix because we're craving that dopamine hit. So, what we need to do is do the grieving, accept what we can, change and know what we can't, and get that dopamine hits other ways, through activities and things like that, reconnecting with people. And, I was doing some more study on like ADHD and, when our hormones and, you know, dopamine and serotonin and epinephrine, all that stuff, norepinephrine, noradrenaline, all that stuff, when it's out of whack, it affects our ability to concentrate, our ability to perform tasks, stay on schedule. That mental health is extremely important. Um, it gives you such a different life, and people get stuck sometimes. So we have to fight that. We have to fight it. We can't just accept it. Sometimes we have to realize maybe our chemicals are off. Maybe something needs to be done. Also, are we eating healthy? Are we getting the right kind of vitamins, the right kind of sleep? And are we surrounding ourselves with the right kind of people? Because Um, it's interesting. I watched this little video on these two little kids, and the dad was telling them that he's going to be back in 1 minute. Don't touch the dark chocolate. So um, it's a temptation for the kids. You know, they're not um, like mentally stable to process all that stuff. You know, the temptation will take over. But it was interesting. The little boy was younger, and he was going to be the good kid, and the sister is just, she instantly just touched and was looking over her shoulder trying to see what she could get away with. Temptation was too much for her, and then the little boy kind of joined in, that he was taking it as permission in a sense. So we got to be careful not letting um, kind of like the peer pressure that some people, you know, that we start mimicking their lives, their choices. John says, I don't know if you got my message on one live broadcast, but I found two 4-gallon water bottles yesterday, and I can move forward with my idea for a propulsion system for boats using just water. That would be neat. How do you get it to propel? Uh, how's the water come out? Do you know yet? That's kind of cool. Debbie says, why do narcs spend money as soon as they get it or already have it spent before their paycheck comes? Do they know about the dopamine? One day, weeks ago, I told them in the morning that's for the dopamine. That what was for the dopamine? Let me know. One day, weeks ago, I told him the morning that's for the dopamine. Um, why do they spend their money? Because they have impulse control issues sometimes. Um, you know, they're trying to. Uh, I think you mean the spending the money is for the dopamine. If that's what you mean, it is a dopamine hit. It's sometimes to fit in. They might want to buy certain clothes, uh, or they want to show off and buy around for everybody, so they think people are going to like them that way, or to show off that they have money even though they don't. It's image to them. It's you know. More of a childlike state, you know, that they don't think about the responsibilities. Um, and they're thrill seekers. Sometimes, you know, they want to go to concerts and they want to go do different activities because they're seeking that dopamine that way too, that they're not thinking about, you know, the long term things. So a lot of narcissists do spend money. There are some that are responsible, but I can't say all of them do that. But yeah, a lot of them, they also dabble in different things like drugs and alcohol. And so there's some addiction stuff too that might be going on with that. Cigarettes, things like that. Not all narcissists smoke or things like that. But John says, fill the bottle tank with water, pressurize it with air, and the water is forced out through the rear nozzle, pushing the boat forward. And thanks for the dopamine hit. Yeah. Yep. And I get what you're saying. Yeah. Kalibi says, hello, hello from Seattle to everyone, and hello, Cynthia. So, good to have you here, Calibri. I was just telling everybody I'm going to be interviewing somebody with the same name as me. She's a therapist, Cynthia Schiller. So I reached out to her. I'm like, that's so cool. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'll have a dopamine hit in the morning if we get a snow day. Oh, I was going to show you. There, there's my green screen. Look how big that is. Look at how wonderful that is. So I lifted it up, but still learning on that. But yeah, that's my green screen. That's what I've been up to today, trying to learn all this stuff. John says, hey, Galiri, what's going on? Debbie says, no, his shopping has nothing to do with me. One morning I woke up and felt him. That was my dopamine hit. Ah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, sometimes we feel certain things. And yeah, I get it, you know, that sometimes through dreams or just a sense, or we can, I know you're thinking about me right now. Kalibi says, hi, John. John says, cool, Cynthia. So I'm glad you like my green screen. That was not fun putting together by myself. Having back issues today. I don't know. My back's been like severely hurting. Mia says hello to K Flyer. Basil, greetings, Cynthia. You look stunning today. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Kalibi says narcs are known to be compulsive shoppers a lot of times, or you know, there's people who hoard. There's people who try to keep up with the Joneses, and it's a lost image, or a need for comfort. That's a lot of times why people hoard, or laziness. Kalibi says narcs don't plan for the rainy days ahead. No sense of financial planning. A lot of times, too, they're so used to just feeling that everything's going to work out. Everything's going to work out because, they're manipulators. So um, they don't. They don't plan ahead. John says, my back was killing me the other night when I was working on the go kart. Oh, so you can relate to what I'm going through. I don't know what's going on with it. It shouldn't hurt. I didn't do anything. Um, I went to the antique shop, but I don't know. Nothing. I don't know. Because I'm not sitting up straight in this chair. If I sit up straight, it cuts my head off. Um, John says, since I have to sneeze now. Since I have pets, I always plan ahead so they never run out of everything. And that's the way to do it. Yeah. I kind of do that too. I buy 2 or 3 or 4 of everything at the same time. Kalibi says, and here they are, being envious towards their neighbors who bought new cars and knew something. Enough reason for them to spew anger and envy. Yeah, it's like, I worked for this. Can't you just be happy for me? And, they sell cars that you could buy too. But, yeah, we're a different breed. Debbie says, I texted Josh, which is her nephew, so I guess we might hear from him tonight. I'm not holding my breath, lol. He did reach out and say hi, so hopefully he will join us. But yeah, one day, hopefully he joins us. That'd be great to meet him, see what he's up to. And I'm really proud of you, Debbie, for sticking to your guns. And it does get better, it does, but we have to also realize there are ups and downs. So, being bankrupt, congratulations, we're bankrupt. Our slate is wiped clean and we can start over. Uh, Basil says, Cynthia, how can I manage my time with time lapse feelings? Are you saying that sometimes you get lost in the correct time? I know I was stuck in 1994 for the longest time. That's when I was supposed to get married. And it was like 1998, 1999, and I would write a check. I'm like, why am I doing 94? I know it's not 1994. I was stuck in that. It was weird. Is that what you're talking about, though? And then I can answer better. John says, same here. Every time I got something new, I get sneers from the narcs. So, yeah, it's like they aren't happy for you. They're jealous or angry. Basil says, Cynthia, please confirm exactly what you mean by that. I know sometimes we might, with our brain fog or stress level that we're going through, that we might get stuck in a different time. We think it's Tuesday and it's already Friday. Let me know if that's what you mean and I can expand on that. Kalibi says, got a great replacement to my, is it Bose? Flex Bluetooth speaker. It's a JBL Bluetooth speaker, which I'm listening to you. Oh, do I sound okay? The Bose often loses connection. I had to reconnect to my PC and phone. Oh, why is it losing connection? Because of the Bluetooth? And I don't know what JBL stands for. Told you I'm naive on some things. But that sounds nice, though. And I think that's how you say it, Bose, right? Um, I don't have a Bose speaker, but those are nice. I do sound clear. Cool. Because I don't have my headphones on. Did you guys notice that? So we have to tell Lily that I won't be clicking. I just have the headset right by me. So that way, too, if I cross my legs, I won't be hitting mute. I feel him. He's saying, text me. And sometimes I can't say that he's not doing that because there are some things out there, but we have to be cautious on that. That it's not um, our mind doing that as well. Because sometimes we want it so bad that we can hear things like that. And is it really him? I'm not trying to discount what you're saying. Um, but if he really wanted that, he could call you. And if that is him, let it wait it out, because if he really wants it, he'll reach out to you. So if, you know, he should be investing anyways. So he had said to you that I think he said stay away or something like that to that. Uh, so maybe it could be possibly maybe your mind thinking the opposite because that's what you want to hear. Or I can't discount it. I don't know if there's, angels, demons, telepathy, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to discount that. But you had brain fog today. Is that something the narc does? So having the brain fog, your mind might be allowing yourself to self-talk in his voice, if that makes sense. So what are your thoughts on that, Debbie? Do you think that might be a possibility? um, just curious on what you think about that. I'm not discounting, if that makes sense. Basil says, Cynthia, live chats are your dopamine inhibitor. Uh, and the dopamine makes you happy, though. so you, so I make you sad. um, but I think I know what you mean, so I'll say thank you. um, so Debbie's asking, is that something the narc does? As far as, I'll answer it two different ways because I could take your question two different ways. The narcs can have brain fog too. So I'll answer two different ways to cover what you are asking. Um, and the narc can do that to us. So, you know, um, they can have brain fog. They don't always remember things. They have false memories on things. Their brain's not working completely correct. So that is going to cause brain fog. Also, stress because of that can exacerbate it. Um, and they can do that to us too because they have us so confused and in that trauma bond and where our brain has been rewired. They've manipulated us so bad that our brains are rewired, you know, where they're not working as good. So that's what the brain fog is. It can be done to us and they can also go through it. John says, my tiny LED lights are neat. They don't plug in, they simply respond to sound. Many different light settings. They look like the bar indicators on a stereo system. That sounds neat. That's the kind of stuff I like. John says one of my Bluetooth speakers has lights on it too. Calibri. I love technology. I like easy technology. I don't like the frustrating technology. Calibri says, James, is it Bullo? Bulloff? Bullo. James B. Lansing started the JBL. Okay, I don't even know. Below. I don't know how we would pronounce that. Below. 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 So it's an American company. Now it's owned by Harman and Samsung. Oh, Debbie says, oh, I'm not texting him. That's good. That's good. Yeah, just stick to it. It's all overwhelming. He knows I'm trauma bonded. How did they do that? He doesn't have a brain. LOL. So I'll talk about that 1 second. Let me catch up real quick and I'll get to that. Kalibi says, yes, John, I love the technology, listening to my favorite music and videos. Basil says, camping is therapeutic. And yes, it does feel good to be in a quiet, isolated place for people who grew up with lots of loud noises coming from the narc's toxic mouth. You get your vitamin D from the sun. You guys are great. Thanks for those thumbs up. And just to, get back to nature. There's so many fascinating things that, we forget to look at day to day. Even though bugs creep me out, they're fascinating. And the flowers and the scents and the sounds and you think of how many different birds are out there and just seeing like animals like squirrels crawling up the trees and hearing the little, I love like the trickling water or waves, what that sounds like. And Kalibi says, John, what's good about this JBL speaker is it doubles up as a power pack. I can use it to power my phone and other small electrical devices. That's cool. They're starting to do that a little bit more. Um, it is overwhelming. It is, and that's sometimes too why we get stuck and not motivated to do certain things. And the trauma bond is through the intermittent reinforcement. We expect something, so we stick around. We expect the I love yous, or I'll come over Friday. We expect this pattern that they created during the love bombing stage. So even if, let's say, one day they call 5 times, the next time it's 3, the next time it's 7, or you talk 20 minutes or like 2 hours, it's substantial. It's a good amount. And so it always feels like it's going to happen. And when they start devaluing us, also the communication is somewhat on point, I guess, in a sense. But we start to get frustrated and like, what am I doing? Do I leave them? And then they give us that dopamine hit again. And we become addicted to that, to where we feel that they're the ones, we go to them because they're the ones who are giving it to us. And when we're about to give up, they give it to us again. And sometimes they rebuild, and it's intermittent. We never know what to expect. So we never know when to give up. That we're focused on them. We get almost in desperation mode, to where, um, you know, we're starving. We're starving for affection. And it's just like if I'm talking to you and I know you're the one feeding me, I'm scared to walk away because it's going to, the food's right there and they're dangling it like a carrot. And the emotional food, and we're too scared to walk away because it's coming. Like, do we give up when this is a person we love and this is who we want the food from? And we just hang in way too long, and then we're addicted, and we're just all of a sudden now focused, and we forget all the food, emotional food that's out there, as an analogy. So John says, as you're talking, Cynthia, the lights are flashing. That's neat. I have portable power packs. They come in handy. That is cool. Kalibi says, with the flatter and lighter PC, they sound kind of tiny. So the Bluetooth speaker enhances the sound coming from the PC with an added bass. Ooh. Do I have to talk in a low voice? Little ASMR. John says, my pets all say hello. Pete Snake just ate an earthworm for me. Kalibi says, what color is your pet snake, John? John says, that's what I like about some speakers. Some are not loud enough while others blast the sound. Some have adjustable settings. Yes. And I want to do some more on that ASMR, where, the different sounds kind of help calm people. They kind of reset the brain too, different kinds of stimuli. We are affected by the stimuli. Sometimes we become overwhelmed. That's why, declutter your house, you declutter your life, that it's not overload, it's peaceful. John says the snakes are mottled green with yellow stripes. Garter snakes are cool. And I think that's how you say it, mottled. Debbie says narcs know they do that, right? What do they know? It depends on the narcissist. It definitely does. And also depends on their intent. Sometimes, they might see you as somebody that might want to live with, possibly marry. So they're not going to realize, or it's hard to describe. Some will, if they want, a free place to stay or a cheap place to stay, or if they want sex, they can purposely know that they're schmoozing you. Others, they do get caught up in it. They think it's, true love at that time. They honestly do feel it. They're not always predators, that they're predatory, you know, but they're not always on the hunt to attack. Um, and it depends on where they are because some of them, sometimes they think they're in the right on the things that they say. Other times they know that what they say is wrong. Like I shouldn't say it, but I just did. But other times they're like, "What are you talking about? Like I told you you're fat, so you'll lose weight. You are fat. What did I say wrong? Something like that." And others are like, "Okay, I know that's rude. Probably could say it different, but they still want to say it." Um, there's so many different types of narcissists. John says not all narcs are the same, obviously, but act in very similar ways. Yep. Debbie says a narc in my life is a covert narcissist, and those are the most dangerous. Covert, think of covered, hidden, um, because you don't always know what to expect. They're really good liars. The grandiose ones are the ones that you can kind of see through, like, oh my gosh. Also the vulnerable, but covert versus overt. Over the top is what I call it. So either they're throwing temper tantrums, you're like, this is not an adult emotionally, or if they're braggarts, that is like, this is ridiculous. You know, Basil says, I mean dopamine activator, not inhibitor. I was like, so yes, yes, much better. And I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. So yeah, I enjoy these. I look forward to these live chats, and I'm glad I can be there for you guys. Heard from Dog Defender. My fault for taking a nap yesterday. She was going to be there at 9, and I didn't go on until 11 Eastern Standard Time last night. Needed my nap. But yeah, tonight I think she can't log on till 9, and I'm not going to make it that long. I got to get my sleep for tomorrow. Kalibi says, I also viewed a video on friends who are either takers, givers, or the middle compromise types. I understand the takers are mostly narcs. I am dealing with the sort of friend who only takes. Yeah, so be careful who your friends are too, and set limits. I just had a friend of mine ask for $650, and I was like, I'm not willing to risk that. It's okay to say no. I want to be a good friend, but things can happen. Um, it's okay to say no. You know, they already owe me $20. Kalibi says this friend has not reverted to inviting me to a meal at his place. And I give my friend credit. It was a new friendship. A lady I worked with at school. She's the one I went to church with. And she came over here, and she had said, something like, "It's your turn. You want to come over for lunch?" And you know, it was my turn, so I did go over there. And it's good to take turns. And I try to do that with my friends. I do have friends too that it's like I kind of got over that too. I always feel like I'm the one um, doing that. You know, and Kalibi, sometimes too, you can say, "Yeah, what are we having dinner at your place next time?" You know, sometimes we have to be kind of proactive too, that they might not understand it, and do it in a fun way. Not a pushy way, and see where it's at. Some people too, you know, self-esteem makes a big difference. Maybe their house isn't clean, or they are nervous about cooking, or they're selfish. That could be it too. John says, I'm wondering if you can piece together a green screen background by using foam boards, the big ones with the same green color. You could. You could. So go for it, John. Yeah, you could even spray paint it. It doesn't have to be fabric, just a green background. So if I wanted to, I could paint this green. So when I get my house, I don't know, I might have a actual green room. I was thinking about doing something like that. So yeah, you just need the green. You just need a solid color block. And you can also do blue. Um, there's a type of blue that you can do too. But be careful on the different clothes that you wear, or they were even saying different tattoos. If you have green in your tattoos, it'll show up. Let's say you had a brick wall, and Like this could show up as a brick wall. So be careful on the clothes and things like that that you wear. It makes a difference. But yeah, you could do that. Just get some uh, green spray paint. Use cardboard, foam board, and John says, I'm supposing that an app is needed though for the picture in the background. Yes, blue can be used as well. Yeah, that's what I learned today. I was such a bimbo. Because I tested it out on how I did that Fairyland. I'm your fairy godmother one that you saw, John. That you can do on Zoom. So you can even record it that way, upload a picture, and that's what I did. I just uploaded a picture, and you don't need any of that green screen stuff. But be careful, you're going to have like um, some blurbies, if you move your fingers and stuff like that. Also, yesterday when I had these on, you could see right in here, because I used the Zoom green screen, this was like the background for some reason. So there's different treats, but to do the way I want to do it, when you use a green screen, you're going to record yourself in front of the green screen, and then you got to go into a program and you have that, and then you like overlay the stuff, so you're going to be in front of your background, and the green screen allows you to put the background there. And there's different ways to overlay and sound and all that good stuff. So depends on how you want to do it, but to get started, you can do what I did and just record on Zoom and upload it too if you want to do it that way. That way you don't have to spend money. You just got to find a picture. Kalibi says his place is filled with these ceramic figurines, which are spread all over his living room. But I think he really wants to invite me for coffee, tea, and dessert. He can designate a space. And is this a love interest, Calibri, or is it just a friend? Um, hmm. And you're right. He can. I think he's a hoarder of figurines, which he sells. Yeah. Some people are like that. And he does sell them. So that might be his passion. Hmm. Yeah. Sometimes people collect things. Um, but he is selling it. I used to do that when I would sell stuff. I'd over purchase stuff thinking it's going to sell, and it doesn't always sell. But Cleve says, I say just a friend. However, he wanted more. Okay. Um, yeah, that makes it difficult. John says my background, and that might be why he's kind of shying away from having you come over, um, like a little hurt feeling. It's like, you didn't want me. John says my background changing app is not functioning on my phone anymore for some reason. Won't update. Oh, try removing it and re-downloading it. That should solve it. And clean your phone with the optimizer. Optimize your phone. Kind of shut down any running apps in the background. Kalibi says, but I spelled it out to him. I'm sticking with friendship. It's my comfort zone. And that's true. It could still have hurt feelings though, even though, and I don't know, I'm just saying it could be a possibility, you know just like if you told me you didn't want to date me, it's like, okay, what do you mean? And sometimes people just want what they can't have. So causes frustrations and people to feel sad. So because I'm sure Kalibi, you're awesome. Why wouldn't he be sad? So how's that car doing? But the narcissist, I know that Debbie's having kind of an empowering time. So I'm proud of you for that. Basil says covert is very dangerous. You are correct, because they will say anything. They will say anything, and um, they'll make you feel like you're the crazy one, and they're so good at it that uh, you don't even know how to fight it. You don't even know how to communicate with them. And they'll always take like devil's advocate. No matter what you say, it's going to be the opposite. It's weird. Kalibi says that's what I did last night, connecting my phone in my car. I had to remove the old connection that permitted me to pair and connect my phone. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta start over. That's what we're doing in life. We're starting over, fresh start. So I've had to do that sometimes. Usually that's what it does. Kalibi said, I'm sorry, Debbie Bassel, that's what I've heard. That covert is very dangerous. Overt is too, but at least you can see it, you know. Um, yeah, but the covert, they hide everything. Um, you know, like, of course I'll pay you back. And, the overt is like, yeah, I just, you know, they'll tell you what they did. Uh, rather not say you would, huh? Come on over. So, how are you? Rather not say good to have you back. Kalibi says I reset the system in my car yesterday. That made me set up a new set of radio stations, safety sensors on my car. I know what frustrates me about my car is I bought it used and I don't have the master key. So I have like parental controls and I can't reset it. I can't like blast my music. It's yeah, that's frustrating because I was learning different language right before I went to China. I was bombarding my brain with Chinese for 16 hours a day. And when you're driving, you can kind of hear some road noise, and that was so hard to hear because you're really trying to hear every syllable. And I just wanted to turn it up. I couldn't have my window down and hear it at the same time. Debbie says, we talked about sex one night. He said, practice makes perfect. Who even says that? A narcissist? Yeah, practice makes perfect. People do. People do. Yeah, yeah, it's not too loving though. It's not like, oh, sweetheart, I would love to just, it's like, yeah, let's practice, let's fuck. It's like, okay, yeah, not quite romantic, but you should have come back with, I already am perfect. We don't need to practice. So, um, yeah, they're just different. They're just different, and it's more of a different way of looking at it. And that's the thing too is yeah. It depends on what you were talking about too. Sometimes too, it kind of, in a sense, takes uh, the depth of it away. Sometimes little things like that are um, subconscious. You know that it's just a practice session. It's not real. You know. Um, There's people who joke though too. There's sarcasm, things like that. Basil says I had a guy ask me for $3,300 once for a midlife crisis. He promised to pay me back ASAP, but never did. I feel ya. I feel ya. I had lent $850, I think, to a friend of mine. Saved all her heirlooms, and I said I have to have this money back, or they will foreclose on my house. She's like, I promise. I get my social security check, and I'm like, I really can't risk this. And I said, I'll do this, but you have to promise. And yeah, foreclosed on my house because of it. I lost my freaking house and that was 30 years ago. Still hasn't. I'm like, just $5 a month, and you get all the excuses, but I had this, I had that, and I foreclosed on my house. You trust somebody and they promise, and then they don't even think it's a big deal. Like, what? I didn't have the money. I had my electric. And you're like, you could have let your electric go so I had a place to stay. It was my money. So I feel you on that. Literally foreclosed on my house. John said, because I mean, it's my fault I was behind on the bills, but I had enough for that month, and it would have saved me to catch back up. John said, talking about speakers, I've designed an unusual security robot that actually can video an area, and I'm using a built-in Bluetooth speaker and send pre-recorded messages to the robot. Whoa, cool. Kalibi says, goodness, Basil, that's a good sum of money. Yeah. Debbie says, I told him if you are still practicing. I like that. You go, girl. And yeah, John, that is terrible. But I will say, like I said, we never know why things happen, because 3 days after I moved out, when they foreclosed on my house, a tornado came through that town and knocked a full size, huge tree right through my roof into where my bed was. So I would have been crushed. So, um, I had that story. I had the story about the guy I dated who turned out to be a murderer, who killed his chick, his girlfriend, with a bat. Um, so, I could sit there and be all sad that they foreclosed on my house. And, God works in mysterious ways. Why did I come up off that money when I knew I shouldn't have? And, um, you know, you got to trust the process, trust what happens in life. Um, they always say everything happens for a reason. Kalibi says, I know of an ex friend who stayed with us in our house and promised to pay rent. My partner and I never saw a trace of any money from him. I suspect he's a narc. He's so into himself too much. He very well could be. Some people are just selfish. Do they have the 5 out of 9 traits? But yeah, he's at least toxic, taking from you. And if he's into himself, yeah. And the thing too is, we have to remember that it could be narcissism, or it could be borderline. It could be different things, sociopath, psychopath, that the person's not necessarily a narcissist. And uh, narcissistic traits. And I'm not saying he's not a narcissist. I'm just saying there's a possibility it could be something different. But either way, it's a lack of respect, And the thing that, we're sitting here trying to figure out what our person is. It's helpful in therapy to know which mental illness a person has, uh, you know, to give them the right kind of guidance. You know, what was it? They had this one thing on depression and anxiety, um, like going out in public um, can be good for depression, but bad for anxiety. And depression has staying in can be good for anxiety, but bad for depression. Um, that if you have social anxiety, things like that, it depends. Tell somebody just get out there, and it's like, well, and those comorbidities can sometimes conflict. Like you're in a catch 22. So yeah, that's why never lend money that you can't afford to lose. Because not everybody's going to pay you back. Sad but true. So moving forward, um, you know, uh, try not to think too much about what could have been, because we have to think about what is. And, um, things will work out the way they're supposed to. And we have to trust that. Don't chase somebody who's not willing to do right by you. And it's just the little things in the narcissist personality. Kalibi says, my partner asked me, where's the rent money? We both asked the renter. He sort of made alibis and left. Yes. Yeah. They'll just go place to place. They don't feel that they should carry their weight, or they're ungrateful. They're not going to be like, yeah, I didn't realize you were going to charge me rent, but that makes sense. I'm staying here. Um, I think he stayed with us for several months, 3 at most. Yep. And there are people like that, or people who are like just for a night, and then they end up not leaving. And then they get mad at you. Yeah. I feel once they get their foot in the door, or they take advantage of it, using up all your supplies, eating your food and not replacing it, and then getting mad at you, like what, you'd buy it anyways. You just have a different way of thinking. Very selfish, um, just like hoarders, they're trying to find comfort in that. And the narcissist, they try to find comfort in different ways. So what did you guys think, those of you who saw my fairy fantasy about the shared fantasy of a narcissist, that in the beginning, it seems like this fantastic relationship, and it's so sad how it falls apart. Um, it's just a toxic cycle that is bound to happen because it throws people off. Um, it's, you know, by nature repelling, even if we don't see it. Uh, Feeling like you're going crazy, it gets to a point where we have to react to that. We are starting to hurt so much. Kalibi says, that's what I think of takers in friendships. I agree. John says, I let a friend that was homeless stay for a few months a few years ago. Bad idea. Never again. Yeah. They'll start taking advantage of it. There are times, that we have to really think about what we're doing, what we're getting into. I had a friend who, she's the one who has that vulnerable, like extreme vulnerable narcissist. And he's a jerk, like big time. And telling her, why don't you go kill yourself? Just do it. And like, you'd be better off dead. Like horrible. Um, and then the super lovey-dovey, and he does that in front of me because they're polyamorous, and he's trying to seduce me at the same time, and it's just sick. But so she wanted to leave, and she doesn't have the money to leave, and I had to make, she has 6 cats. um and like, I don't mind helping out, but with her it would be a lifelong commitment. um because if I took her in, and she'd have nowhere to go, she wouldn't have the money for a down payment. um and I'm single. I don't know how that would affect, if I ever got married, things like that. um she does have siblings. So you know and she is disabled, but I think she could do certain jobs. I had told her about English as a second language, how I taught that. And they have some jobs where all you do is just talk to people. She's very interesting, very intelligent. And, people from different countries might want to just talk, like, hey, politics this, or, talk about whatever. And she could just lay down and just talk. It's not even, I do where they can see me through video calls, but she's like, yeah, and you could schedule whenever you want. So she's one that just gives up and relies on government money, because you can make up to a certain amount before they cut that off. But she's not trying to take care of herself. So is it up to me to take care of her? Kalibi says it felt like we were given an honor or pleasure for him to have stayed with us. Typical narky attitude. Very selfish, very entitled. Yes. Entitled to everything in your house. I wouldn't doubt it. They go through your things or use things that they shouldn't, Um, and yeah, you should be thankful that that I interrupted your schedule. Debbie says, he told me once I need to win. Well, I need to win. I always do. That went back and forth. I let him win the bog. The big baby. Yes. Yeah, they do. They definitely need to win. Um, they need to be the best at whatever, the best at the best or the best at the worst. It doesn't always have to be a good outcome. They just, what, like in advertising, sometimes bad publicity, it still got my name out there. It got me recognized, got people curious about me. Same with the narc. They can just get attention. Narcs always need that win. You're right. They don't want to be wrong, and they will either not accept that they're not winning, or they'll leave. They're not going to stick things out long term uh, if there's bad times. Um, Sometimes they do stick it out if their image will be affected. So if they're in a bad marriage, they might stick it out just so people aren't like, oh, I knew he was a loser, got divorced again, or it's shame based. Maybe they're too afraid of coming out as gay or lesbian, so they're going to stay in a relationship to counteract that. And I'm not saying gay people are narcissists, but I'm just saying the narcissist protects their image. Debbie says, John, I let him think he did. Yeah, it's just like, whatever, pick your battles. Okay, you can win, whatever. I know I did. you know um yeah, interesting. So Debbie says, Calibri, how entitled? um what was he doing, Calibri? I think what Debbie's saying is, what did he do that he made you feel he was entitled to what kind of things, as opposed to how much entitled, is what I think she's saying. So I'll let you go ahead and answer that. You can interpret it how you would like, but that's what I think she's trying to say. um and as you type, I will say that they're entitled to money, finances, or food. Even the remote control. They're in our house, and they'll throw a fit if they don't get their TV show when they want it. They can be easygoing sometimes, but when they really want something, um, probably entitled sometimes too. Like, dude, I need a ride to work. How else am I supposed to get there? And to where, we start taking care of everything for them, you know, borrowing money, or can't you just drop this off at the post office, and entitled to have lived with us for free. Yeah, to where, grown person living off somebody else's money, they just want to be taken care of. And sometimes we can feel like, okay, the person's helping me out, but if somebody says, hey, can you kind of chip in, it should be like an unspoken, like, I guess I need to, even if I didn't want to. That the kindness shouldn't be taken for granted. Then these narcs don't know or refuse to know the cost of running a household. Yeah, and sometimes too, they might relate to, when I was in my apartment, it was $40 for electricity. You're like, okay, well, we have electric heat, and whatever it costs 800. I used to, my propane was $860 a month in the winter just for heat. $860. That's back during when gas was $5 a gallon. Kalibi says these narcs don't know or refuse to know. You're right. Debbie says, I'm concerned about this insurance policy coming in. Um, is that the lawsuit, or the yeah? Because you had, I believe, probate. Is that different than the insurance policy? Is that what you're talking about? Um, he doesn't have access to any of your accounts, correct? And you just have to make sure that you don't let him weasel back in. He's not in your life today, and it's real ironic if he's going to reach out. You know, either right before or right after. You know, um, even for free dinners or shopping or trips. Be careful on that. And definitely be careful of a quick marriage. So I think it's best to just go no contact, And do you have them blocked? I think you still have them unblocked. Am I correct? Because sometimes too, we start checking our phone, and it's a temptation, and we start focusing on that to where it's almost like an obsession. So when they do call, it's harder not to entertain it. Kalibi says narcs have an immature in dealing with real life experiences and life issues. You're right. Life expenses. Um, yeah, very true. Kalibi says narcs' immaturity caused a lot of upheaval in people's lives. Yep. And they often don't see it, just like trying to explain things to a teenager where they're like, screw this, oh, we got to do this. And, um, what do you mean I can't go on that trip? Well, we have our mortgages. And like, okay, like, I want to go on this trip. Everybody else is going. And yeah, Debbie says, if he's that entitled, how much would shut him up? I'm not planning on giving him probate. That's just one payment. The rest is yet to come. Um, I'm confused on if you're talking about your person. Uh, um, I think, what would he be satisfied if you gave him a certain dollar amount? He'll take everything he can get. You know, give him $500, he's going to want more. I got 500 out of her. What about 2,000? And um, you know, it'll become an addiction and a challenge. Um, I think you're talking about your person, not what Kalibi was talking about. And you know, uh, he'll just take whatever. You know, sometimes too, even if you're like, here's $50, go away. Maybe they'll take it. It's a free $50. Um, or they're just going to take you for everything. So there's not a set answer on that. You know, what do they think they can get away with? You know, they thinking they can get more, they'll try for that, or they'll just take it and run. Kalibi says, and you couple that immaturity with alcohol and drugs, man, we are in deep doo doo. Yes, and the thing we have to remember too is people who are on drugs or alcohol can present with narcissistic traits. They might not be a narcissist, but they are under the influence. That's where it gets tricky. Is your person like this all the time, or is it only when they're under the influence? That's why they rule things out before they give you a diagnosis like that. John says, too funny, Calibri, but very true. Ew, doo doo. When does a cop smell? When does a cop smell? When he's on duty. Get it? Duty. John said, did you guys get my joke? John, you better tell me I'm funny too. Debbie says, yes, my person. I was just going to give him a penny for his thoughts. And that's about what they're worth. Yeah. No, don't give him any money. You like that's my good joke. I've known that since I was 8. And what was the elephant joke? Something and blueberries. Can't remember my elephant joke. But yeah. As far as shutting him up, don't give him money for that. He's an adult. He can shut up without us having to pay him. Because all we have to do is walk away. We have to remember that too. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and log off for tonight if you guys are doing okay. I'm going to finish my lesson plans and get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow, do you guys want to do 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? What do you guys think about that? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow will be my kid day, my aggressive kid. That kind of scares me. The one that gets really violent and is traumatizing kids. So, but yeah, definitely stay no contact. They're not willing to change. It's just going to destroy you, and if you're not with your person, don't destroy yourself to where you get stuck. And you'll get back to working on projects. Anytime is fine. Sounds good. And it's so nice having you guys here. We've been doing this since end of November, I think. And we've been doing this almost pretty much every night. It's great. It's been a fun chat, Cynthia and everyone. Thank you. So yes, thank you guys for joining. You guys help make it fun as well. Debbie says, nope, no money. Why would I? He can't even talk to me. Yeah. And that's the thing. If he does come back, pay attention to timing on what people do too sometimes. That it's not always ironic. It's usually a message. Debbie says fine. Cool. John says, I hope you have a great night. Everyone, take care, Cynthia and gang, and all those beautiful emojis. So feel free to hit that like button on the way out. That really helps me out. And I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy the night.